show on the bright side, where we feature amazing influencers who are making such a positive difference in our world. I am so thrilled to have Rachel Raba as my guest today. Rachel is a certified aromatherapist, clean beauty advocate, and toxin-free living educator who focuses on helping women detoxify their bodies and homes and live healthier lives. Yay, I'm so happy to have you here today.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. It's such a pleasure.
Oh my gosh, our viewers are gonna love this because I haven't filled this niche, and I'm like, I have been so excited to have you. So let me complete and tell everybody about you. So she discovered the power of essential oils, herbs, full spectrum hemp, and many other natural wellness tools when searching for ways to resolve her own health after it crashed 6 years ago, as well as overcome her daughter's significant medical issues. Oh my gosh, that I remember you telling me that story, and why don't you share with our viewers that story?
Sure. So in 2014, I was working for the State Department, which I had for over a decade, and I was loving my job and performing at a very high level and leading a team of people who were working on the issue of human trafficking. And I was traveling a lot overseas, and part and parcel with traveling overseas, especially to the countries I was going to frequently, you take a lot of anti-malarial antibiotics, which should come with a warning that they could ultimately crash your digestive system. And I was working insanely long hours in a fairly high stress field and in a high stress work environment. And I did that for about a decade. I traveled a lot. I worked a lot. I worked long hours. I added a baby into that mix a year before my health crashed. And then in February of 2014, I was up doing multiple speaking engagements in Pennsylvania. And in one meal, I ate a meal in a university cafeteria, and my body didn't digest that food well, which was unusual for me because I normally have a stomach of steel. I traveled all over sub-Saharan Africa, all over other parts of the developing world, ate all kinds of things, never had digestive issues. By the time I lectured a class after that meal, I could barely stand up. I could barely walk back to where I was staying on that campus. And that started a spiral downward very rapidly within the span of a couple of days of developing acid reflux, very significant coughing to the point I couldn't hold a conversation or speak or even lay down to sleep. And I was diagnosed over a period of about 6 months with no fewer than at least 15 diagnosable medical issues. And I went from being very healthy and very active and very at the top of my game and exercising 6 days a week and doing all the healthy things to being almost completely dysfunctional and hanging on by a thread. And so that started me down a route of looking at ways to restore my health. And I went the standard medical route with the endoscopies and the gastroenterologists and all sorts of other urologists, all sorts of other specialists to, deal with these issues. And I kind of got to the end of what they could offer me, which was a lot of medication and injections of things that I just didn't feel resonated with who I was and how I wanted to manage my health. And so I started looking for alternative ways. And that got me into a naturopath and then a functional medicine practice and working with a nutritionist and doing all kinds of diets. So I started with the food and the supplements first. And the food and the supplements can take you a really long ways. I completely cleaned up my diet and was doing, a lot on that front. And then at the time when I was starting to do a little bit better, we found out my daughter had some really significant, possibly life-threatening health issues. And we spent many months getting her a lot of testing and surgeries and medications that had massive side effects. And we got kind of to the end of the line of where she could be helped in standard medical realm and wasn't able to be diagnosed, though we knew she had very significant symptoms. To this day, we have no diagnosis. And so in looking at not only how to restore my health, because though I was better, I was not great. And I had a child who was in massive amounts of pain. The older she got, the more pain we realized she was in. She had a distended stomach that looked like she was 9 months pregnant all the time. She became malnourished, even though she was on a high quality diet, because her body was so overloaded with her digestive system not being able to eliminate and all the toxins not being able to leave her body, that they were burdening a lot of her organs. And she had massive skin conditions because of that. Everything was just coming out sideways. And that is how I discovered essential oils, as you mentioned, because I was looking for something that could not only help deal with her motility issues, but could possibly help with her pain issues. My biggest issue was her pain, because as a mother of a young child who's in extreme pain, it's a very helpless feeling to not be able to do anything for her, to know that everything you're doing is not working and she's not getting any better after months of treatment. And you know, what doctors are saying is that she may be in this situation lifelong, and that was unacceptable to me. So I'm a researcher by nature and by training, and so I just began researching. You know, there was me on the Google and on PubMed, you know, really looking for how can you in a more natural way deal with abdominal pain. And that's how I discovered essential oils as potentially something that could help. And I said, well, we've tried all kinds of other things. We don't have anything to lose but some money by investing in some essential oils. And I spent then way longer than I should have probably researching essential oil companies. But eventually I got some oils in our home. And from the very first time we applied them to her abdomen, they dramatically changed her existence.
Oh,
From
wow.
crying on the couch to, with 1 drop of ginger oil mixed with some coconut oil, within 30 seconds stopping crying, within a minute getting off the couch and starting to move around, run around, play like normal children. And within about 5 minutes, my husband and I watched her belly start to slowly recede towards her body. Now, of course, it didn't recede the whole way because she was really impacted with too much fecal matter that needed to come out. But it dramatically changed her existence in that moment. And that was the first time I had any power as a mother to change something about the way that she felt in the moment that she was feeling it. And so that took me really deep into a natural health rabbit hole where one, I went to aromatherapy school and thought, well, if I'm going to be using these oils on a young, very health compromised child, I should know what I'm doing, one. And two, if I'm going to talk about them to other people, since I share about natural health a lot, then I really want to know that I'm telling people a proper thing. And that from essential oils, that led us to a whole lot of other things. And so over the past 6 years, we've just been, I think, the poster child for trying anything and everything that seems reasonable that might help any of our myriad conditions. And I can say now, 6 years later, we are both in a really good, very stable place. My daughter's not in danger of losing any of her organs or use of her organs. She's very healthy. If you met her in person, you would never know that she went through a couple of years of just a lot of unfortunateness, and that today she's thriving and growing, and as any child her age should be. She's 7 now. And so we really are very burdened now to share what we've learned with other people, particularly other women and other mothers, so that they don't have to get to the place that I got in my health. Before they can make changes in their lives before their health crashes and they get to a place where they're hanging by a thread, and so that they can either keep their children from getting to the place where my child got by making different decisions in pregnancy, making different decisions when your children are infants and very young than I knew. I did the best I knew at the time, but now I know a whole lot differently, and just really love to wrap my arms around people and say, here's what I learned, take it or leave it. but
Right.
these are some things that could help you potentially in the place that you're at.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Well, it's such a gift. I looked at your group. You have a Facebook group, and then you also have a website. Can you share those with us?
Sure. So my business name is called Holistically Healthy Home. And so the meaning behind that is I look at health from a very holistic fashion. It's not just food. It's not just supplements. It's not just exercise. It's not just herbs and essential oils and full spectrum hemp. You cannot be healthy without a full spectrum view of your life. And so, I really have started my website a couple of years ago around various types of more natural, more back to basics ways of living. You'll see a lot of essential oils on there, and DIY recipes and how to make your own skincare and those types of things. But I really have moved away from the website. I still have a website. It is in sore need of updating. I don't blog like I used to blog, but I've really, as you mentioned, started pouring most of my time and attention into a Facebook community that I host called Simplified Natural Living. And so if you search that on Facebook, you can easily find it. Simplified Natural Living, and it has a background that's green with leaves on it. And that community I formed in order to be able to have a wider reach. I was doing a lot of teaching of workshops here. I live in the Washington, D.C. metro area, and I was doing a lot of in-person workshops on how to care for your body in more natural ways, how to deal with digestion and headaches and physical discomfort and immune support and emotional support and dealing with seasonal threats and all of those things. I was teaching in-person workshops on how to do that in a more natural fashion, as well as how to make your own cleaning products, how to make your own personal care and skincare products. But that only allowed me a very narrow group of people. It was only how many workshops can I host a month? Those are the people that I can reach. And so I decided to start the Facebook community to have a broader reach to women beyond what I could do in in-person workshops. And so I started it about a year ago in April or May. And I opened the doors for any woman anywhere in the world who would like to come in and learn about easy ways to make simple, safe swaps in your life, to learn about the ingredients we're putting in and on our bodies, what is healthy for us, what is not. And really, because I spent so much time researching and so much time in trial and error. When you are kind of navigating your way through how do I transition my home from a place that has a lot of toxins in it, in the cleaning products and personal care products and makeup and the air quality and all of those things, to a place that's more of a cleaner oasis where our family can be healthy and thrive.
Yeah.
Trying to do that is overwhelming. It was overwhelming to me.
Well,
and I had to do it out of necessity.
Right. And you were in crisis mode while you did this. It wasn't like you had time on your side, you're like in survival mode. Wow.
And so I would like women to be able to do this, one, to cut down on the research. I've done a lot of the research, and I'm constantly doing more research so that I can post about the questions that people are asking in the community and the things that they're interested in that I haven't looked at yet. Like somebody asked me about self-tanners a couple of weeks ago, and I said, well, I've never used a self-tanner. I'd never thought to look into that category of products, but then I was able to look into it and say, here are the toxic ingredients that are often in self-tanners. Here are some clean options. Here are some options that people typically pick. You probably don't want to put those on your body, but here are some cleaner options. I've already done the research. Here it is in a nice, neat post for you. And so it's allowed me to take all of the research that I've done over the past 6 years, and even before that, because I was interested in natural health and natural living before my health crashed, but to put it all in one place that is easily searchable and that really cuts down the work for people. So not only on products, but I have in my group a blacklist of ingredients that you
Right.
can just take and save to your phone. And anytime you're looking at a new product, you can say, does it have any of these ingredients? This
Yeah.
is the good place to start to cut down on it. I also have a master list of products in my community that
Okay.
are, products across so many different categories that I
Right.
have researched that people can easily just take, save, download, print, whatever they want to do with it. So
Right.
if you are wanting hairspray, or you are wanting cleaner nail polish, or you are wanting dishwasher detergent pods, I likely have already researched those, and I have a list of 5 or 6 brands that you could choose from to go to your store or go to Amazon and purchase without having to research like a crazy person every time you want to make a new swap
I
in your
love that.
house.
I
And if
know.
I haven't done it, you can ask me and I will put it on my list of safe
I
swaps to do.
I know. Well, and it's so great on Saturday, your Saturday swap day. I love that, ditch and switch, right? Ditch and
Yep.
switch. I love that. I know. And it's such an eye opener because I don't use self tanners, but I noticed one of the brands and I'm like, oh, wow, really? And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of moments, in looking through your Facebook community because you read, but we don't read like you're reading, and so a lot of the things that we read about it is all marketing propaganda, and it's carefully worded, so you feel like it's natural, but truly it might not be. So,
and that's a big thing that people need to look out for today, because marketers are very slick in attempting to sell products. And I believed a lot of lies for many years, thinking the products I was using were safe or healthy or natural. And when I really looked into them, once I started learning about ingredients, because of my daughter's skin issues, that's how I really started delving into ingredients. I didn't do it for myself, I did it for her. She was having eczema and fungal infections and a whole bunch of stuff related to her digestive distress. And she easily reacted to everything.
oh,
And she was reacting to all kinds of products, everything from diaper cream to lotions, and everything I tried to deal with her eczema, for instance, just either made things worse or didn't help at all. And
yeah.
she could easily just flare face, legs, everywhere. And so that's when I started saying, maybe it's the ingredients in the products that we're using that are causing some of this problem.
Yeah.
Or making it worse. And so I need to learn about our ingredients. And what I learned was then shocking, because what I learned is, one, there is a lot of greenwashing out there, what they call greenwashing. So, companies that pass themselves off as being healthy and natural and clean and have pretty packaging, sometimes with green leaves on it, and make you feel really good about yourself.
Simple plant. Yeah.
And they'll say they have vitamin C and antioxidants and all the nice stuff. But when you really peel back the layers, they do have that nice stuff in their products. But when you actually look deeper, it's on top of a bed of other things that you don't want in or on your body. And what I really learned from Gabby's experience was that a lot of us pay attention to food. And that's where, like I said, we started, is cleaning up our diets. But what I learned is, yes, it's critically important what we put in our body, what we're choosing to fuel our body, and you need to pay attention to that. And that's the simplest place where most people start. But what we actually put on our skin is far worse than what we ingest through our mouth. And why is that? Because when you ingest something through your mouth, food, drink, supplements, you have enzymes in your saliva and enzymes in your stomach acids, to break down that food and help start filtering out toxins. And particularly if your digestive system is healthy and sealed up, it should go in your mouth and out the other end without getting into your bloodstream and in other parts of your body, because your digestive tract is a sealed container. Keep everything inside. But when you put something on your skin, you put it there, it absorbs through your skin, through the layers, and it absorbs directly into your bloodstream. And starts floating around in your bloodstream, thereby reaching often every cell in your body
Oh,
without any filtering by your digestive enzymes or your saliva enzymes. And so that's what makes what we put on our skin even more important to consider the ingredients in than what we eat, because
oh,
there is no filtering and it's just ending up lodged in your organs. And that is also what was happening to my daughter and me, quite frankly. And what you need to be most concerned about is what you're putting on your skin that is staying there. So what you're putting on your face, your makeup, your lotions, you know, yes, be concerned about what's in your shampoo, but that you're putting on quickly and washing off your body. Your makeup, you're putting on your face all day,
yeah,
almost every day for a lot of women
right.
for decades.
And
And
moisturizers
yeah,
and serums. Oh my
there's
gosh.
estimates out there that the average woman absorbs 5 pounds of toxic chemicals a year from her makeup and skincare products.
Oh my.
And then you are forcing your body to have to deal with that on top of all the other toxins you experience in the environment, in the air we breathe, in the water we drink. And so that is one thing, what you put on your body and your face, you have complete control over. And so that's where it's really wise to make well-informed choices, because you don't need to burden your body. There are enough products out there on the market today that are completely clean and non-toxic based on the best research that's available today, that we don't have to put toxic junk on our
No.
bodies anymore. There's so many options. And even for people that love DIY, you know, making things
Right.
yourself, it is really easy to make things yourself, to make your bath salts and sugar scrubs and salt scrubs and even serums and skincare products. I have recipes for all of those things in my community. And you can really make things in 30 seconds to a minute, most things, unless you need to melt something like shea butter on the stove, which I occasionally do. But most everything else I can make in a matter of a couple minutes.
Oh my
It
God.
actually takes me longer to get the ingredients out of the cupboards than it does to make something. And quite frankly, my 7-year-old makes a lot of the products we use in our house. She makes almost all of our cleaning products and a lot of our personal care products, including clay masks and face scrubs and all kinds of things. So we can have then complete control over the ingredients that are in our products. We can have the joy of making them ourselves. And a lot of them are made out of very simple things you have in your house, such as our cleaning spray that we use, multi-purpose spray on our stove and in our sinks and in our
Right.
bathrooms, on our toilets, is just vinegar, white vinegar and water and essential oils. It's
Really?
antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. And the reason I switched to making my own cleaning products is because I had an unfortunate experience when my daughter was about 2.5, where at that time, a lot of children, right, want to start helping to clean.
Right.
And they think it's fun to spray things and to wipe things and to clean the mirror. And so she was in the bathroom with me wanting to clean. And so I sprayed some of my not homemade spray on the toilet, and I turned around to get some paper towels to wipe it off with. And when I turned back, she not only had her hands on the toilet seat in the spray, but she was licking the toilet. And that was
Oh,
my fail for not keeping an eye on her,
right.
to see what she was doing. And we had a very serious talk about not licking the toilet after
Right.
that and not putting our hands in sprays. But that's the day I decided that my cleaning products needed to be 100% ingestible. That if
Yeah.
she drank the entire bottle or dumped it on her body or stuck her hands in it, that I would not need to call poison control or be
Yeah.
concerned. Because most cleaning products, if you look on the bottles, right, it has the poison control number
Big warning.
at the bottom. And every year, there are children in this country that die or are seriously harmed from the ingestion or encountering of their skin to cleaning products. And I didn't want my daughter to be that. And I didn't want anybody else's child to be that either. And so that's when I started making my own cleaning products. And in fact, now she can make them. And if she drank our entire bottle of cleaning spray, which she wouldn't because it does not taste good, being that it's vinegar based,
Right.
I
But
would not have to call poison control. It would not hurt her
yeah.
at all. She would be completely fine. And my bathrooms are clean. and toxin free. And when we're inhaling it, because a lot of the dangers with cleaning products not only are touching them, but inhaling them.
Right. When you
You know,
spray, it goes in the air, but you also ingest it.
you put
Exactly.
it in your lungs, and then anything you inhale through your nose or mouth also floats around inside your body, those chemicals. And so we no longer need to run fans when we're cleaning, like the exhaust fans, and it's completely safe for everyone in our home to use those products. I don't have to clean with gloves on, you know, can feel completely safe. And so that's what I'm really in my community looking to empower people to do, is either be able to take 30 seconds and make your own vinegar-based cleaning spray. And if that's not for you, either if you don't feel like you have time or you just don't like DIY for whatever reason, then there's also a list of cleaning sprays that you can go out and purchase from a store or from your favorite online retailer that is really easy for you to just click and purchase.
What a gift to all of us. That is such a gift, you know, and as you're talking about this, I was so frightened to think about, you know, about the whole idea of putting things on your skin and like not having the enzymes to fight the radicals and the toxins that are in those products, you know. And then I always thought, oh my gosh, DIY is so hard, but it's not, you know, just like, you know. And I haven't looked at your post about that because I kind of just went, oh, I got to find the toxin list because I got to find out what I'm throwing out and what I'm buying, you know. But it doesn't have to be that way because it's a lot more simple. Then I think we complicate our own lives, you know, a lot of times because we don't have the knowledge. But I've fallen prey, like I was telling you, I've fallen prey to marketing. You know, I look at a label, I look at the number of things that are in the label. You know, I have like a list of hotbed items that I don't want in my products, but marketing is so slick that I'm like, oh, this is a good product. And no, it's not, you know. It's just, you know, it's just, I'm so happy that you're here today. And I told my friends about you over the weekend, and I shared with them the scanner. You know, you have to tell our audience about the scanner.
So there's a couple different apps that you can download to your smartphone, which will really cut down your research when you're in a store. So my favorite one is the Think Dirty app. So again, it's Think Dirty, and you can just go to your app store, regardless of what kind of phone you have, and just search Think Dirty. You can download it in a few seconds. And basically what that app allows you to do is once you open it, you can either be in a store and scan that product, or at your home even, and scan the barcode of that product into your phone, or you can type in the product into your phone. And what it'll do is spit back out for you as long as it's in the app. And Think Dirty does not have every product known to man in the app. And every day it adds more, but it's not, there's hundreds of thousands of products, but it's not complete. So you might not find every eyeliner in there or every self-tanner or whatnot that you're looking for, but it will give you then a score for that product on a scale of it's 0 with Think Dirty. There's 2 apps and they each have a slightly different scale. So with Think Dirty, it's 0 to 9.
Okay.
0 being clean as possible, and 9 being dirtiest, most toxic. You should definitely run away from that product as fast as you can possible. So it'll give you an overall score for the product, but it also will tell you every ingredient in that product, and it'll give you an individual ingredient score. So that makes it very easy for you to go into this app, look for the product that you're interested in buying, or even a category. If you're interested, for instance, in buying lipstick and you want to know clean lipsticks, you can just type in lipstick and scan through and find the ones that are 0, 1s, or 2s. I do not like to buy any product that is higher than a 2 on the Think Dirty app. Maybe sometimes 3, but anything that's green is fine with me. Any ingredient that's green, any overall score that's green, great. Anything that's higher than that, I want to take a really close look at before I purchase. And while the app is not perfect, it's a really good place for most consumers to start, especially if you don't know anything about ingredients. You can easily go in and say, oh, this is a score of 8. This is really dirty. I do not want to put these things on my body or have it floating around in my bloodstream. I'm going to put that one back on the shelf. and scan the next one. So
Wow.
that really helps consumers. There's another one called it's done by a group called the Environmental Working Group, EWG, and it used to be called Skin Deep, but now I believe if you look in the App Store, it's called Healthy Living. But if you search Skin Deep also, it will come up. They started as a cosmetics and skincare database, and they've now expanded into cleaning products and other things. And they're very comparable in their ratings. They rate from 1 to 10, 1 also being clean and 10 being dirty. And they also have the readouts of each ingredient. And I like both apps too, because they both tell you what the concern is with that ingredient. Not just, oh, you should avoid parabens, but you should avoid them because they're endocrine system disruptors and they're this and that and the other thing, so that you know, is it an allergen? Is it an endocrine system disruptor? Is it a carcinogen? What is the concern? What does the research show with this particular product? And so they're really handy. You know, when I was first getting started with looking at ingredients, those were really helpful to me. Now I know ingredients fairly well and I don't have to rely on them as much as I did at first. But for most people, they are an awesome, awesome tool that I think every woman and man too, but every woman who's buying for the household should have on her phone one of these 2 apps to easily just whip it out and give yourself a gut check after you've looked at the label and said, oh, I think this is fairly clean. Type it in or scan it and gut check yourself to make sure that there's not, because sometimes I've overlooked ingredients. You know, I've looked and I've said, oh, that looks pretty clean, and I missed one. Right. Because it's easy with all those kind of foreign looking terms on it to skip over one without even realizing it. And so it's really just a good basic check for people.
I love that. I feel like it really like eliminates like just chaos and like being overwhelmed. You know, I remember when I first looked at your community, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a bit overwhelmed. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to get rid of this in our house. We have to change this. You know, I just felt like it was a fork in the road, you know, and I'm like, you know what? There is so much work that has been done here that I don't have to be overwhelmed because there are answers. You know, I have it in my, my phone is your master toxin list, right? Is it called the master?
The toxin-free master list?
Yeah. I love that, you know, and the master list of toxin-free solutions, you know, I love that because, you know, there's so many, like we talked about, we go into the store, like I go into a store because I'm not DIY until today. Now I'm going to be like, I don't have to worry. It's not going to be hard, you know, and I think we always think we overcomplicate things. I do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, for me to make my own household cleaning items, that would be hard. But it's not after you're talking to me. And actually it's less hard because then I don't have to think about which ones are safe, you know? And, you know, I have kids that are older, you know, and I tried, I mean, we just didn't have this information, you know, when they were little, you know, and I think I, you know, fell prey to like, you know, the least, you know, look at how many items there are. And my big check was, I had like a list of things that I wanted to stay away from, but I tried to get products that had the least amount of ingredients. You know, I was like, well, I know I can start from there, you know, but it's just, I mean, this is such a gift, you know, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, so do you get to go out now and do virtual webinars and things like that?
I do some virtual webinars. For instance, about a week ago, I did a clean beauty webinar via Zoom to really talk about some of these things that we've talked about today, about body burden, about greenwashing, about the ingredients that are in our personal care and makeup products, and what are some of the big ingredients that you want to avoid out there. And then what, you know, if you know what you want to avoid, and you know that the makeup, for instance, that you currently have is what you want to avoid, what are some clean options that are out there to use instead? And do they actually work? because
Right.
that is the other half of the question that people have is, great, I want to get rid of the toxins. I want to decrease my body burden. I want to get out of my body's way so that
Right.
it can actually function as it was intended to function, as it was created to do. You know, our bodies are very beautiful in the way that they've been knit together
Mm-hmm.
and the way that they are able to self-heal. But a lot of times our bodies cannot self-heal because we are throwing so much at them, not only just with our products, but with the stress in our lives and the busyness of our days. And we're just forcing them to do so much, lack of sleep. And so they cannot optimally perform. And so we may realize, okay, I'm ready now to get some cleaner products, but I'm really scared. This is what I hear the most, that they are not going to work. My
Mm-hmm.
house is not going to be clean, for instance, or my makeup is going to look terrible, or that I am going to have to sacrifice my beauty for my health. Um, a lot of us have sacrificed our health for our beauty
Mm-hmm.
forever.
Well,
You
and
know,
we didn't even realize it, to the extent that I realized after looking at your community.
I didn't know that for 25 years I was putting toxins on my body until the day I discovered it. And so I said, well, I want to change, but are those products going to work? Are they going to work as well as my toxin-laden products? And
Mm-hmm.
that for a long time has been a real concern in the cosmetics industry, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the more natural cosmetics, or the ones with fewer toxins or no toxins, frankly didn't perform well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took me years to find some makeup that performed as well as the toxic makeup that I was using. And I don't wear a ton of makeup. I've never been a huge makeup person, but I do wear makeup, especially in
Right.
professional settings. And I
Right.
do want it to look decent. I want it to cover well. I want it to stay on. Often my work days are very long, especially when I'm traveling overseas. I might be out of the hotel from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. without time to be reapplying makeup or wanting to carry large amounts of makeup along. I want my
Right.
makeup to work all day long. And so for a long time, there weren't a lot of clean options on the market that actually performed well. But today there are. So I do teach, for instance, webinars on that, both within my community and to anyone that is interested. I'm happy to host them. I have people that ask me to host them for their family and friends so that they can learn this type of valuable information. I recently did a webinar also on the health benefits of full spectrum hemp, which the hemp industry in the US is growing rapidly. And it
Mm-hmm.
was something that I'm newer to, and something that's taken me a long time to research and kind of wrap my head around. What is medical marijuana? What is full spectrum hemp? What is CBD? How are they the same? How are they different? What are the pros and cons of each of these? What am I comfortable? Am I comfortable using any of them in my home?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, what? Because similar to essential oils, which are an unregulated market, there's nobody regulating them. Nobody's regulating what's in the bottles or the standards by which the plants need to be grown, or the use of pesticides or herbicides, or whether there's heavy metals in them, or even the labeling on the bottle. There's really no regulation around that. And it's the same in the hemp space. And there's a lot of adulteration. There's a lot of synthetics. There's a lot of companies that are claiming that their products will do a certain thing when they won't, based on what is in them. And even in the full spectrum hemp space, there's issues not just with labeling and with purity and with absorbability of our bodies, but things like a lot of the hemp in the United States isn't grown here in the US, it's grown in China. A lot of the, for instance, CBD oil that is made from hemp comes from China. And in China, a lot of the hemp is grown as kind of ground cover in order to pull toxins. Hemp is a very fast growing plant, and it is able to pull toxins out of soil, so detoxify soil that has heavy metals and pesticides and herbicides and fertilizer residue and all those things, so that the land can be used again for growing food.
Mm.
And so it is used for that purpose. And then the hemp is harvested and sold to companies in the US to make CBD and full spectrum hemp. And once I found that out, I said, well, I certainly, because once you distill something, it becomes even more potent and concentrated. Essential oils and hemp, CBD, all same thing. You take a plant material, you distill it down, it becomes very potent and very concentrated, far more concentrated than the plant itself. And at the same time, you're concentrating the plant material, which is what we want, because we want that powerful therapeutic effect on our bodies. You're also purifying, and not purifying, you're concentrating the toxins that are in them as well, the heavy metals, the fertilizers, the pesticides, all those things. And so if you've taken a hemp plant that was used in China to suck toxins out of the soil, and you bring it here and you concentrate it down through distillation, you're then putting all that on your body. And that was something that was unacceptable to me and I did not want. And so I spent a lot of time researching that. So now I am starting to do webinars as well, now that we're in an online space and I can't meet with anybody in their living room personally. Right. I'm doing it now via Zoom and Facebook Live and other platforms to really get that information out to people, because just like essential oils, full spectrum hemp can have really dramatic, life-changing effects on people's lives, on their emotional well-being, on their physical well-being, on their discomfort levels, on their immune support, on their digestive system, just like with my daughter. And so you want to be able to avail yourself of these things because they allow you to take your health into your own hands and make decisions for your own health and not need to rely. And yes, there's absolutely a place for doctors, and we still go to a lot of them. And we still seek a lot of medical consultation to continue to get our health to an optimal level. But I want to be a healer within my own home as well. And I want to, like when my daughter was having digestive discomfort, I want to be able to affect her health in real time, and to only need to go to a medical professional when there's something I cannot handle myself.
I love that.
And so things like essential oils and full spectrum hemp, which I'm extremely excited about right now. We have brought hemp into our home and we have been really seeing very good health impacts from it, which I am incredibly excited about. And I'm loving sharing with people now so that they can have those same emotional impact, especially right now as we are in this pandemic time and people are really needing much more psychological support, much more emotional support, much more just grounding and undergirding of our lives to be able to cope with not only what we've been through, but what is still going to come, the impact that is still going to be on our lives for quite some time. And, you know, as I've been homeschooling, for instance, is something I never thought I would be doing in a million years, but I've now been 2.5 months into homeschooling. You know, we're really seeing, a lot of us are seeing changes in our children as they cope with this stress. And as this period here in our county, we are just reaching, I believe, phase 1 today. This evening. And so we've still been on stay-at-home orders for 2.5 months now. And a lot of friends and coworkers are really seeing changes in their children that are concerning.
Right. There's a lot of mental health issues, you know, that it's scary because they're not addressed, but they're so important and critical. And it just still seems like sometimes a taboo subject, which is so sad. And that's why we have so many issues, you know.
And so I'm really glad to be able to bring additional tools into that space, not only with my own daughter, who this has been a big adjustment for her. And the summer is going to continue to be a big adjustment as a lot of the things we had planned for her aren't going to be happening, and we're going to need to figure out what to do, and not being able to see friends and all these things. I'm glad to have these tools to be able to support her during this time.
I do too. I know, and I forgot to send you, there's a lot of virtual classes too for kids, you know, like I had, it's just, you know, it's another like situation where we just have to recreate, you know, and be creative in how we approach things, because we need to reach these kids and feel like there's some sociability rather than just a Zoom, but they need sociability. you know, and it's just hard, especially at young ages too. You know, you can't you can't rationalize why we can't go outside or why we can't. I mean, I didn't even think about that until, you know, the other day when you were talking about it. I'm like, wow, I wonder what it would be like to have a kindergartner, first grader, second grader. You can't explain this to them. They don't understand this, you know, and it's such a long period of time for them to be without their classes, and you can't, it's just hard. It's much more difficult than I thought of, you know? So, oh my gosh. Well, I just appreciate everything that you have done and the research, and I am so sorry, but I'm so happy that your daughter and you are fine to this day. You know, I really am. And can you tell us again, now if people are interested in having you speak or hold a webinar, can you let us know how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I am on both Facebook and Instagram. So again, my Facebook community is called Simplified Natural Living. You can find me there 7 days a week. But you can feel free to message me on Facebook Messenger. I'm on Instagram as well under the handle Holistically Healthy Home, or Rachel Raba. You can search either one. It's the same thing. And you are welcome to message me there as well through personal messaging. I will get back to you very quickly, as quickly as I can in a teleworking and homeschooling environment. But I'm happy to talk to you there. If for whatever reason you're not in either of those places, I'm happy to leave my email address as well. Maybe we could put it below. I could put it in a comment once you.
Yeah, they could post it at the end of our show. I'll make a note and I'll send it to them. And then, oh my goodness, your Facebook group is amazing. I really, really, really enjoy like everything that I'm learning from Simplified Natural Living. I tell people about it all the time. Oh my gosh. I'm like, and I'm gonna try crunchy. I'm like, I'm ordering some crunchy makeup. So isn't that the one that you suggested?
It is. And for anyone who wants to get started with clean makeup, Crunchy is a fantastic brand. Please message me so that I can help you get foundation shade matched and concealer shade matched and all of those things. And I can give you my link as well so that you can direct order and be attached through me so that you, one, become a member of my community, not necessarily my Facebook community, but so that you are attached to me so that you get the customer service and the help and the shade matching and all of the things going forward so that I can loop you in when there's going to be sales and any of those fun things coming up. Crunchy runs promotions and things. So, you know, I'm happy to help anyone who wants to get started with more toxin-free makeup and skincare that actually performs at a high performance level.
Oh, that's so nice.
Please just message me.
Okay, message you on Simplified Natural Living, and then also I saw that there's some links there too. That you have some links on some of your posts about Crunchy, and that'll bring you over to your page, right? Yeah, great. Oh my gosh, and oh my gosh, we didn't even talk really about plant medicine. You know, you have such a well-rounded. I mean, there's so much to talk about here. We need to do another episode. But so what do you think, what message do you think you'd want to leave with? I mean, it's not as overwhelming. That's the biggest thing that I came up with. You know, it's not as overwhelming as I thought it would be. And the benefits, you know, it's just, even when you talked about putting things on your skin, that is such a visual that I will never forget, you know, it really is. So, so if they can go to your Facebook page, and do you have an Instagram too?
I do. It's under Holistically Healthy Home.
Okay, great.
So I'm there. So I have a Facebook page. I have a Facebook community. You can friend request me as well on Facebook because I post quite a bit, even on my personal profile, things that I don't post inside my community. So I'm active in all of these different places. But what I really want to say, beyond reading labels carefully, which is obviously very important, is to don't be overwhelmed, like you said. You don't have to make all these changes in one day. I didn't make them in one day. I made them over a period of years, and I made them through just a lot of trial and error. And I made them as we were using up something that I knew I wanted to replace. Then I would get something new. I did not go through my house with a big plastic garbage bag, which I
Right.
have had friends that have, once they've realized or had a health need, or for instance, when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, she started going through her house with a trash bag and just throwing away all of the things that may have contributed to her having cancer. But most people don't do that or don't have a need to do that. So as you use something up, say, look at it, look at the ingredients, look at the Think Dirty app, say, is this an optimal thing to have in my house? If it is not, maybe I'll try something different and see how it goes for me. So don't become overwhelmed that it's going to be super difficult, that I need to replace everything at once. And what I love about my community too is it's not just about products. It's not just about labels. It's a full spectrum natural health. So we talk a lot about food. We talk a lot about gardening. Anyone who knows me knows I'm obsessed with gardening, and I talk about it a lot. And I talk about the importance of growing all of our own food and having access to food as close to it when it's picked as possible for optimal nutrient absorption and nutrient availability. So we talk a lot about that. I share a lot of DIY recipes for people that are interested in doing those types of things. We're talking about basically everything under the sun. And if there's topics that we're not talking about yet, we probably will be talking about soon as somebody raises the question. So it's a really fun group of women that are there to support and encourage each other and come up alongside each other. So I welcome anyone who would like to come join us. But really, it's just about small changes. Small changes a little bit at a time lead over time to a heck of a lot better health for our body and a heck of a lot less body burdens. So,
and I really like your suggestion of when you run out of a product, unless you have, like, I was about, I have thrown out a few items, but I like the whole idea too of doing it gradually as well, because that's the only way that we'll probably make like substantial ongoing changes if we do it we do it gradually, but I love the tools. I love the recipe. I picked up rhubarb. I haven't made it yet, but that looked so good. The chia seed pudding rhubarb. Oh,
yeah, it is very good.
I love rhubarb. My grandparents used to grow it, and I love rhubarb. Oh my God.
My grandparents grew it. My father is still growing it at his home, large quantities of it. And it's one of our favorite foods. In fact, my daughter eats it raw, just from the stalk. Wow. She just gnaws on that thing. Most people, it's too tart for them, but she just eats it like it's an apple or a carrot. So it's not always easy to get in warmer climates where it doesn't grow as well because it's really a cool weather spring crop. But if you can get your hands on it, rhubarb has so many health benefits to it, and it's only available a little bit a year. Now is the time. I have a good recipe, several good recipes for rhubarb in the community.
It's so yummy. And then I was going to ask you about like fruit wash, besides buying organic, because I know that's a big thing too on, like organic versus, I buy organic, but there's people who say, oh, you need to buy this fruit wash, things like that. What do you do with like cleaning your produce?
So great question. It is really important to wash our produce. One, it's important for the fruits and vegetables that tend to have the most pesticides or the heaviest duty pesticides on them. You definitely want to buy those organic. And EWG has what's called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 on their website, their online website. I think it's ewg.org, and you can easily find the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. And so the principle behind that is if you are going to buy organic produce, but you don't have a lot of money to invest in it, because organic can be more expensive if you can't find it on sale, then invest in the Dirty Dozen, the ones that are the dirtiest and have the most pesticides on them. But the reality is that even with organic produce, they still have pesticides sprayed on them. They're just not as heavy duty as the ones that are on the conventional produce. And so it's important to wash them. And even I grew up on a farm, so I understand food handling and bacteria and all of those things. Your produce is handled by a lot of people before you get it. So even if it has no pesticides on it, you want to be washing this stuff because you don't know who's touched it and the sanitation around it and whether they have had access to bathroom facilities or not, and whether out in the fields they have hand washing facilities, because quite frankly, even in the United States, in the agricultural sector, there is not always the types of facilities that you hope workers would have. One, for their own health and safety, but two, for the safety of the food that they are handling. And so it's important to wash your produce. I've used a variety of fruit washes over the years and cleansers for it. You can use Castile soap. The Dr. Bronner's, most of us are familiar. We've seen the bottle of Dr. Bronner's. So you can use Castile soap. My favorite thing to use is actually liquid silver.
Oh, really?
This is going to sound very strange, but I have silver in a bottle that you can just put very small amounts of in your wash water. It's highly antimicrobial and antibacterial and very cleansing, not only for your body if you're taking it internally, and it's very excellent for immune support, but it's very good for cleansing surfaces in your homes, for cleansing your vegetables. And it's something that isn't going to impact the integrity of your fruits and vegetables. Another thing you can consider if you don't have silver is you can use things like apple cider vinegar is another good wash for fruit, or white vinegar. You can soak, bring home your produce. Berries and things that decay easily don't wash until right before you use them. Okay. But a lot of people will bring home all of their heavier duty produce and just wash it, soak it all at once in a solution of vinegar and water and let it sit there for 15 to 30 minutes until a lot of things have been cleansed, and then take it out and rinse it well, dry it, and put it in your fridge to store. So there's a lot of different options that you can use for cleansing, depending on your preference, the amount of time you have for doing it. But those are the Castile soap, the silver, and the vinegar are three that I like.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. I was thinking about that the other day because, we've seen, like in the summer and the spring, we eat a lot more fresh, produce.
Exactly.
And I saw a post of someone cleaning, their organic, produce and how much, residual was still on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to ask Rachel what she uses because this is important,
Yeah, I should do a post on that. It's one I haven't done for the community yet. So maybe I'll do a post on that soon.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. And we need to, okay. So at the end of the show, we're going to have your links. And let me just tell you people, you need to check out this community because it is so helpful. Simplified Natural Living, and they're on Facebook and in Instagram. It's just amazing. You do a post, you do one a day, I think, even sometimes.
Yeah, I try to do at least one a day. Sometimes I do two, depending on the day, but usually it's one. And some are fun and, just lighthearted, just for fun. And some have more in-depth research for the people that like to geek out on that stuff, like I do. And some are links to articles. So there's a little of everything in there. It's not a totally heavy group that you're constantly inundated with too much information. But yes.
Scan through them, go back through. Last night I was going back through. I was trying to watch a movie with my son, but also was being distracted. I'm like, okay, wait. But it is so great. And I love your Saturday swap. No, ditch and switch, right? Ditch and switch.
Yeah, I call it Saturday Safe Swap. And then in the graphic, it always says ditch these, switch to these.
But just so great. I know we were picking up Band-Aids, the other day, and I'm like, don't buy those. Oh, here's the Band-Aids because I had your your post, and I'm like,
good.
I'm not going to use Band-Aids.
That makes me so happy.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I am so happy that you're here today, and I learned so much, and I am just so excited every day when I open my Facebook to go to your site
Oh,
because
thank
and the
you.
page, because it's just so informative, and you just feel good, about making small changes, and after talking to you today, I just know, more, and this just is like a calling that I now have, and I'm so excited, and I thank you so much for putting me on this road. So my
You are
family,
most welcome.
and my kids are old now, but one day I'll have grandkids, so I will, I I can't wait to like do it right, when they're little,
Hmm.
because there's so many things that you wonder now. I mean, I look through it and I'm like, I wonder, because my son had asthma when he was younger, and I was like, I wonder what I could have done differently besides an inhaler, and there's so many things. It's so great, and your website and your Simplified Natural Living is so powerful and has so much information, there, that I just appreciate all the research, and I'm so happy that you and your daughter are doing well. And thank you so much for being on our show. Oh
You
my
are most
gosh.
welcome. I was so happy to do it.
Thank you. And then, so at the end of the show, we'll have your website. Just say it one more time. Not your Facebook page is simply Simplified
Simplified
Natural
Natural Living.
Living. Yep. And you'll see it as green and has some little organic feel to it.
Yep.
And then you can message Rachel there if you have any questions. But you probably will have so much information that you won't have to ask her. But and then check out like all of the the alternatives to safe products and safe medicines. Yep. And you talk about makeup and replacing your
Mhm.
makeup. And I'm going to get this dirty, what is it? This dirty app? No.
Think dirty.
Think dirty.
Think dirty.
Think dirty app. Yes, think dirty. And I'm going to go use that when I go out to go grocery shopping. So I thank you.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you so much. And
You're
I can't wait
welcome.
for you to come on our show again. And I wish you the best. And I hope that I'm glad you only have one more week of homeschooling. By the
Thank
time it airs,
you. Me
you'll
too.
be in vacation. So, oh, thank you. And thank you all for joining us today. And thank you, Rachel, for being here.
You are
And
welcome.
And everyone out there, you need to check out her Facebook community and check her out on Instagram. I love her Facebook community because there's so much information there. I love information. So, and it's such a helpful, it's just helping on just making our homes healthier, and for us and for our families, it just means so much to be proactive in a time like this, and when we're fighting these viruses too, it's just amazing. And thank you so much for all of your work.
You are welcome.
Thank you. And I can't wait for you to be on the show again. And we will when you have time. And I hope that people will reach out and have her have a webinar. I'm thinking, when can I have my webinar? And we thank you so much and wish you the best. And I hope that everybody here today will check out her Facebook pages. And thank you, viewers. And thank you for tuning into The Bright Side. Follow us on Social Nostra. Subscribe, share, and follow. Be careful out there. Be safe, and hoping you can look at today and every day on the bright side. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rachel.
Bye.
Thank you so much.